welcome back to another episode of Happiness Matters, the show with me, Beanie Man, and Mo the service dog, who we locked out of the room because he was way too excited and happy to see my friend Emerald Taylor. And we did not meet networking, imagine that. We actually worked together while I was a very unsuccessful, unhappy mortgage loan officer. We worked in the same office.
Tell them how you really feel, Beanie.
I really hated it. So that's why I do what I do now, because this is who I am.
Right.
You know, but we met there and we just totally hit it off. Because birds of a feather are no. Can you tell we're twins?
This was not planned, by the way.
Nothing is planned. Because we twins. Sorry, Rachel, I have more twins.
Right. Rach.
I love Rachel.
I do too.
So, but anyway, so we met there and we just hit it off because we are both having that entrepreneur gene in us, and I believe it's a gene.
Yeah.
You believe it's a gene?
I do. I believe it's a gene.
We just have that drive, and we were bouncing off each other like ideas, and that part I really miss.
Yeah, we talked about everything. I'm really not. I can say this now since we don't work there anymore.
Right?
I think that we talked about everything, and we got work done. But every time we got to see each other, it was like, so what you got?
I know, right?
What you got? What you talking about today? And because nobody came into the office.
Oh darn. And you know, so I really have to admit, I miss the location. The location was fabulous. So we were downtown, smack downtown, at it's called the First Bank Tower, and it's right next to the Antlers Hotel. And we were on the 6th floor, so the view was amazing.
It was.
The parking was fantastic. I mean, parking is important.
It was free.
Right, for us anyway. And I mean, it was just the whole everything was just nice. And then I mean, it was pretty much just the two of us in the office.
Literally.
And
just the two of us.
And we learned. I mean, I learned a lot.
I did.
You know,
I learned a lot.
Like I learned a lot from you, and then bouncing off ideas. And it's like, oh, you know, we should try this. And why is this not working? Well, duh.
But I think the thing that really kept me in awe of not only you as a person, but you, just me even being an entrepreneur, in my second wind of entrepreneurship, let me put it that way, because you know, you could be an entrepreneur, you can start years ago,
right,
and do something, and then you're okay, you were successful, or you found some success in what that was, and then you take a break. You're still entrepreneur minded, still want to do entrepreneurship, but you just take a break and you start things and you know, entrepreneurs, what we do. And
and we need to figure out what is it that we want to do.
Right.
So.
Right. I think so too. And I think it's not good just to, I mean, if you jump in, entrepreneurs just have a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
You think? Like, we just jump in, we do it. Oh, that didn't work? My bad. Let's go to the next. And so once you find that niche and find whatever you are good at or whatever you're passionate about, and running with it makes such a big difference, and that's what you did. Listen, y'all, let me tell you something. This woman right here, I was like, okay, she quit on a Sunday night, okay? Monday morning, I come into work.
April 1st.
April 1st. We thought, now, I know it wasn't April Fool's, but this woman was like, I'm a fool, all y'all. I'm really not coming to work tomorrow.
I did stop by to drop off the laptop and the
that's
keys.
how I found out. I was like, hey, girl. She was like, oh, this is my last day. Actually, my last minute. I was like, this chick done quit on a Sunday, Jesus. I know the Lord said take a rest on the 7th day, but come on, baby. So I was like, okay. And then from April 1st of that year.
Last year?
2019. OMG. Then all the way till now, I promise she is not the Beanie Man that I met then to what she is now. So this is a prime example of somebody, if you want it bad enough, you can have it. Because this chick, even though she's a woman, she's like been such an inspiration. I've not seen her stop. And as she's built momentum, she just kept going and going and going.
Oh,
even in the dry seasons of her life. The dry season, you wouldn't believe it was a dry season unless she told you. Because she's walking around, hey, how y'all doing? Now I see why happiness matters.
It does matter.
I mean, I know it does, but you took it to a whole nother level, okay?
Because it took me a while, you know, and there's a lot of people in this town that know me, and I've lived in this town for what, 10 years now?
Yeah, it's a long time.
And I've always known that I want to have my own business at some point,
Mhm.
because I have that entrepreneurial thing, and I've tried the JOB thing.
Yeah.
I'm a really crappy employee.
I won't say that on national.
I really am.
No, you can't say that. I'm still employed. I'm still a corporatepreneur.
And you're amazing. But for me,
Yeah.
it
no, I agree.
just wasn't working, and so I quit that, and then I tried this, and I tried that, and I mean I was really bouncing. And there's this amazing gentleman in this town, and he's one of the first people I met.
Okay.
And it got to the point when I saw him, he goes, "Hey, Beanie, what are you into these days?" Because almost every time I saw him,
Yeah.
I was doing something different.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because again, as an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
what is it. It's like I knew I wanted to do something for me,
Right.
but I just didn't know exactly what it was.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it became clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And then, you know, when you and I were working together, that April 1st was like, got it, done. So that's really what I did, because they had just hired the coaching company for us. Remember
Yes.
that?
Yes. Yep.
And I was filling out their questionnaire.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And as I was filling this out, it was all about personal development.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, this is not what I need. I need it specifically for mortgage stuff.
Right.
That person, and I'm looking at all the questions they're having. I said, I could do that. I can teach that.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I, and this is really, in the split second in my head, it's like, why am I doing this? What the fire truck, closed the lid, walked away, never looked back.
Well, that's what you were doing with me. I mean, even though I know it wasn't like, oh, Emerald, I'll be your coach, or Emerald, I'll be your mentor, or Emerald, let's talk about these ideas.
That's not.
It happened so naturally,
Mhm.
and we bounced. That's probably because it's hard to find people who actually like having those conversations,
Right.
without getting bored. I mean, I had somebody not too long ago tell me, well, I don't want to continue to talk about business. I said, well, looks like we're not friends anymore. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You know, and it's
Wow.
not because I want to be rude. It's just the fact that that's what I am. I love it. Now,
Right.
am I making the money I would like to make? Not yet.
Oh, I like the way you said
You know,
that.
not yet. I consider myself a corporatepreneur. I'm in a corporation. I'm a great employee. I'm able to serve, you know,
Because you're amazing.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Where I'm at, you know, to whatever capacity I need to. But at the same time, I have the end in mind.
Right.
And so that's what I believe corporatepreneurship for me at this stage in the game is. And there's a lot of corporatepreneurs out there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who actually really like their job. But they
And
just want to have something on the side
Right.
to say that they have a hand in something, they can do their passion, they can put value
Mhm.
out there to other people, they can serve their community, and they can also make extra money without having to go get a second job.
Right.
Because that's the worst.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, and even if you don't have the entrepreneur gene, I think just having that entrepreneurial spirit, like I think it can be developed, almost like leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership over time can be developed because you're looking at everybody like, hold on, you got a second job? Nope, it's not a job. I'm working on my fortune.
See, and I love, you know Jim Rohn, I'm sure,
Mhm.
because who doesn't really?
Right.
And I love what he said.
Right.
I'm working full-time on my job
Yep.
and part-time on my fortune.
Yep.
I got thinking, I'm working full-time on my job
Mhm.
and part-time on my fortune,
Right.
and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. At some point,
Mhm.
I don't know if you know that part of his story.
Yeah.
At some point, and I love Jim Rohn, too bad he's no longer with
Right.
us, but he's amazing. So at some point, he made more money on his side gig
Mhm.
than he did on his full-time job.
But then that's when it made sense to walk away.
Well, but he didn't want to walk
He
away.
didn't.
Do you know why?
Because he still wanted to sell his part-time.
Because he loved his phrase, he loved his story.
Yeah, his story was working part-time, making a fortune.
Right.
And so he said he had to find another story.
Right.
So I thought that was funny. And how he says it is amazing.
Yeah.
I can
was
listen
like,
to Jim Rohn all the
I
time.
love it.
But and it's so a lot of times, a lot of people. That's why I kind of wanted to get into that space of corporatepreneurship and talking to corporatepreneurs, because you can be in a cube and you can still make money on the side.
Mhm.
You can be able to be the best employee ever and still make money on the side.
Absolutely.
But I think as you're making more money on the side, regardless of what you're doing, it's still really good to be able to, it is a great story.
It
Like,
is.
I love my 9 to 5, but let me tell you what I'm doing over here.
Right.
You know? So eventually I'll have a corporatepreneurship t-shirt. I'm a corporatepreneur. And then
I like
have
it.
like the definition of it. It's coming soon, but it's in the works. It has been in the works for a little bit. It's just the fact that I think for me, I was just looking at like, it's a lot of people out there just thinking the same thing I'm thinking. You
So?
know? No, not feel the love. I feel the love.
It comes with love.
And that's another thing I think a lot of the entrepreneurs go through too. Well, somebody's already in that space. Well,
Guess
look
what?
at the bread aisle.
There's enough for everybody.
There is.
And I like that bread aisle.
I saw that on Facebook about 2 months ago.
Love that.
And they said, you know, if you think your idea is the same or whatever, just look at the bread aisle. And I looked and I said, you know what? That is so true. So it takes you, it takes away that excuse.
I love that.
Yeah, it takes away that excuse.
And you bring up a really good point with the excuses, because we have that, we make those excuses.
Yeah.
Because, but that comes from fear.
Yeah.
It's really that, you know, that self-talk that we have that to protect us.
Mm.
Does it make sense?
Mhm.
It's like, oh, well, but if I do that, what if
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
doesn't work out? What
Right.
if, and we do that what if down. And I talk about that in other shows before. It's like, instead of the what if down, with the what if up.
Right.
You know, instead of imagining the worst case scenario, imagine best case scenario.
That's true.
The energy output from you is the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you say or ha ha ha, like my words.
I do. I do.
I mean, the energy you put in is the same.
That's
It's just the outcome is different.
right.
Because what you think about, you bring about.
That's the truth.
So it's like
Sometimes I think what we think about is not even there.
it's not. It's our imagination.
Yeah.
It's
and we're
it's
conjuring
running
up stuff almost.
Right, and plus, I mean, the thing too is we're conditioned. We're comparing ourselves to others.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
this person tried it and they failed. What
Right.
makes me think? Why would I be better than da da
Yeah.
da? Well, you are better because you are you.
Right. Right. Right.
That's why you are better.
Right. You're not
Okay.
that person. You
Because
are
the
who
thing
you are.
is, the idea itself is great,
Mhm.
and the universe puts it out. It's like, hey, this is what you want. Here you go. But here's the thing: if you don't jump on it, it's gonna keep on bouncing until it hits somebody
Yeah.
that will run with it. So it may have hit that person over here.
Mhm.
They failed. They didn't really do with it, and then it bounced off. It bounced to you.
Right.
Now you run with it.
What I'm learning is if it's not something that is gone away from you, you know how you have an idea and you try it and you just kind of put it on the table a little bit. Not necessarily the back burner, just put it on the table. You know, maybe it's not the season or the time for me to do this, and then it keeps nagging at you and you cannot
Here's
sleep.
your sign.
Right. That's a huge sign, and that's been a sign for me on several occasions. So I think for entrepreneurs or even corporatepreneurs, because I think they're one and the same, if you are working a 9 to 5 and you really, really, really know that you're at your desk and you're fiddling with stuff and you're trying to use the corporatepreneur, you're trying to use the corporation's computer, don't do that, okay? But if you're if you're like on lunch and you're like, let me look this up. Let me see this. Let me write down some notes. And it's nagging at you. That's just something that you know you just need to run with, even if it's part time.
I call it the universal 2x4. That's what happened to me when I walked away.
Oh yeah.
Because and we were talking about that in the office at that time too.
Yeah,
because more and more was falling apart for me on the mortgage side, and more came together for me on this side.
Mm-hmm. And it was inevitable. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
Regardless if it happened then or it was going to eventually happen. And I think at the time, even though we probably always see the signs early on.
Well, we're conditioned to ignore it.
Right. Right. And April 1st was just your, how can I say, your drop dead date. Like, not physically, people. not physically.
And I didn't
I'm
plan. I did not plan it or
but
nothing.
nothing ever is planned
Right.
when it's
When the time is right.
when the time is right.
Right.
There's no such thing as planning when the time is right. But when
But
the time is
right.
right and you walk away and you do it, that's when the planning begins.
Exactly. And for me, I mean, it really, literally stared me in the face.
Right.
As I was filling out that questionnaire.
That's crazy.
I mean, right there, that's when I had my light bulb, my aha moment. It's like, oh, done. So,
Well, and the email we got as a corporation when she was, listen,
peace out.
the email that came from the corporate office or our manager was so funny. It was like, it was so weird. It was like they didn't really care anyway, but they knew, especially after the meeting we had last week.
Yeah.
The week prior, yeah. And so I was like, oh, it's not going to go well. And that's what I'm thinking to myself. It's not going to go down well. It's going down for real. And she walks in the office and looked like she had like a microderma facial because her face was lit up so well. I was like, okay, did you do skincare? Did your skin change?
And the weight was off my shoulders. I walked lighter,
yeah,
taller,
you could tell a big
brighter.
difference from Friday. You could tell a huge difference from Friday. So if you, everybody can't do this, but I've heard of a lot of people who do.
Everybody can.
They can't. I'm talking about like a lot of people aren't in that space.
Right,
That
because there's
comfortability.
that fear.
It's a lot of fear because you got to
factor,
take
too.
into consideration contributing factors such as do you have an extra income coming in?
Right.
Do you have somebody, do you have a savings account? There's
Right.
a lot of things that people think about financial wise, like can I sustain myself?
No, absolutely.
Some people I've seen jump,
Mhm.
whether they have anything or not. And they like, Lord, I'm going down. Up, if I'm, you know how when you jump
It's
out of
like,
an airplane and you go down and then you
boom.
gotta come right back up?
Yep.
Right. And that's exactly what a lot of people do because if you don't do it, it won't get done.
Right.
So, I'm not that person.
And that's okay.
Not yet. But I'm still, that's where the corporatepreneurship comes in. I know that I have an end in mind. When will that end be? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I still want
You
to
need
make
to work
money.
on that. You need to set a time frame.
I know. She's telling me I need to set a time frame. Okay, world. So now that she's going to help me accountable to the world, I need to set a time frame.
Hey, I have a coach in my life now too.
I
And I
know.
did a show with him with Gary Barnes.
See?
But I knew that you have to have the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the statements, the
Right.
affirmations, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And Gary has his way of doing it. I take a little of his, and then what I have done.
Okay.
What I put out is like, I want blah blah blah, or
Mhm.
I enjoy blah blah blah, X amount or more by this date or sooner.
You're right. And there's a certain amount of money, certain amount of necessity I started last night, matter of fact,
Oh,
again.
good.
You know how I have a lot of little things that I have with notes, but now I'm trying to compile them into
You're
one
trying?
section. I am compiling them into one section because she said trying is actually not doing anything.
Trying is a cop out, but
FYI.
you all know that.
So, hint, hint. So I started last night again reevaluating some things because I needed to really look at how much money.
Mhm.
Like what am I gonna need? What type of financial stability will I need to not only pursue my dreams but to be a blessing to
Mhm.
others and to do
Be
what I
back
want
plan.
to do, you
Mhm.
know? So I had to just think of a dollar amount. I haven't really come to the conclusion of one yet, but it's in process. And at that point,
And when you have it, add a zero.
right. At a zero, because you're gonna need it.
Add a zero. Whatever, guys, you too. It's like whatever amount you have in your head
Right.
that you think you want or need,
At a zero.
add a zero. That's fun.
I believe it.
It's
I
fun.
believe it because it's possible.
It
I
is.
mean, but you know, and it's okay. A lot of I don't know who I was talking to, but everybody doesn't want $1 million, and that's fine. They just want just that enough to be a blessing, to do this, that, and the other. But I know I think I want the $1 million.
Right.
You know.
Well, I actually did this. So when I had my session with Gary,
Okay.
he asked me what is my goal,
Right.
and what he brought up made so much sense, because I was like, well, because you know me, I'm like, $1 million? It's a
Right.
good start. And he goes,
Okay, so yeah.
so you start with what you're making right now. Okay?
Okay.
And then you add the 0. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me it was, oh, that was an eye-opener. I was like, oh, crikey. Which is good. But here's the thing. Start with the 100,000.
Yeah.
And here's why. And Gary explained that to me. He says, because the 6-figure, that's the 6-figure barrier.
I never would have thought of that.
Right?
I mean, I hear
That's
people
the-
say, I want 6 figures all the time.
Right, but what does that mean? That can be 100,000, it can be 999,000.
That's true, yeah.
So Gary looked at me and he said, start with 100,000. This is really great advice. I can really highly recommend it to everybody. Start shooting for that 100,000.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and set yourself a time frame. A year, 2 years. For me, it's like now. So 1 year.
You keep doing these speaking engagements, it's going to get there real quick.
Right? So, but that's where you start. And once you hit that 6-figure barrier,
Sky's the limit. Yeah,
that makes so much sense.
it does make sense.
Because now you're eating that elephant bite by
Yeah.
bite.
Bite, yeah.
Not just that whole, do I want $1 million? Will I have $1 million? You betcha.
Because I think we've all had probably.
And then some.
Yeah. Someone told me, not someone told me, I think I was listening, I don't know if it was at church or what, but they were talking about how we've all had several thousands of dollars go through our hands. We just don't, we don't see it because of what we either spend it on.
I bet you if we had everything up,
Right.
we're already millionaires.
Yeah.
We just don't have it because it goes out faster than it comes in
Right.
for most.
For the most, yeah, for
Right.
most of us.
So, but I really like that, set that $100,000 goal, that 6-figure. Shoot for that, like I said, a year from now, 6, 12, 18 months from whatever your time frame. But shoot for that first.
That's true.
And then,
Go from there.
yeah. So
Way to go, Gary.
I know, Gary's amazing. I'm so glad I hired my first coach. But hey, coaches need coaches.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, I would recommend for anybody, entrepreneurs, corporatepreneurs, anybody really, if to move forward in life, and even if you just want to better yourself on whatever it is, relationships or whatever. I mean, there's coaches out there for everything these days.
Lord.
But here's the thing: ask for help.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, go out there and ask for help, but also vet the person
Right.
that you're looking
Yeah.
to. It's like, hey, cousin Billy Bob knows somebody that, it's like, okay, my question to you is, would you take financial advice from a homeless person? So, vet the people.
Yeah.
It's like, look at their story. It's like, because I can look great on paper. Everybody can look great on
Yeah.
paper. We can look great on Facebook. We can look great in the media.
Yeah, that's definitely
But it's
true.
like, once you peel back the onion a little bit, it's like, what's your real story?
Right.
So, and that's what I tell people, but it's like, ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean you're weak.
Right.
That doesn't mean nothing. Actually, to me, asking for help means you're stronger.
Well, you said something earlier before we came down in regards to, like, you've gone so far by yourself.
Right.
And now you needed someone to help you along, to take you to the next stretch.
To give me that swift kick.
Yeah, not only that, but when you think of a runner,
Right.
when you think of a runner and they're at that last leg, they don't just do it by themselves, especially the sprinters. Because I
Right.
was a 400-meter dash sprinter in high school.
Wow, I can
And
see that.
so, when you at that last leg and you are going for the finish line, you need somebody else to take the baton. Not just take it, well, in this scenario, not
Right.
just take it and just go, come on, help you take it and just run with it. And so that's what a coach does. For
Right.
this is not your last leg, but
No.
you're about to
It's the next
launch
step.
into your next step.
Right.
And so now you're like, I need help.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
he's giving you nuggets already that probably is going to pay you
Oh my gosh.
well over what you've paid to get him.
I can't, I mean, you can't really put a price tag on it.
You really can.
You really can. But Gary, in the coaching sense, he's very much like me.
Okay.
we just give it away. We give so much nuggets away.
Because it's
For
natural.
people. It's-
and you want to see
exactly.
people to succeed.
Exactly.
It makes a difference
And
when
you're
you
the
want
same
to
way,
see.
and it's like, you know, and that's just like, how can I help you? What can I do for
Right.
you?
And I think that's why, in so many reasons, I have not put a price on what I've helped people to do. And I don't even broadcast what I help people do.
Right.
Because it's just not, it comes so natural. You
Right,
know,
because
so
it's your passion. That's
it
just who
is.
you
I'm
are.
like, okay, what do you need? How do I help? And okay, I got you. And then it's done. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh, that was finished already. You know, so.
It makes a difference.
It makes
But
a
yeah,
huge
but we can
difference.
only go on by ourselves.
Right.
We can only go so far.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go further and you want to go where you really want to go to reach your end goal, or at least go to the next
Mm-hmm.
step, you know, ask for help.
To truly level up.
Totally level up. And it's like, you know when the right time comes.
Right, you do.
You know, it's like for me it was the universe. It's like, oh, here you go, because me and this attitude here, you know, I put out, it's like, you know, it's like, you want me to do this, but then I have to do this, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, so give it to me. As you wish, here you go.
Can you imagine her sitting at her desk talking to herself? World,
do.
can you just see Beanie Man sitting talking to herself?
I do.
I just wanted to put that nugget out there.
Mo comes up so many times, like, are you okay, Mo?
Right. And Mo, poor Mo, he doesn't even know what he's like. Are you talking to me? Like, he's like,
He's
no,
so
sweetie.
cute, so he comes on my left side.
Right.
On my desk, and he's just there, and he puts his nose under my arm to get my attention, and and I look at him, I was like, what's up, boo? And he just looks at me like, you okay, woman? Like, you're losing it right now.
He's like, I'm not coming here because I want a pet.
No.
I'm coming here because I want to make sure you're okay, human.
I know, and he has those facial expressions
He does.
too.
He
It's
stared at me today. I was like, are we having like telepathic communication or something? He just stood right here and just breathed. I was like, okay, fishing breath. Okay, my bad. I had to vent about the dog's breath for just 2 seconds, people. 2 seconds.
But anyway, so yeah,
Okay.
but he does that. But I really do that.
Yeah.
But here's the key to quick manifesting tip. You put out what you want with feelings, with emotions, and then you let it go. You just let it go. You don't attach to the outcome. You don't worry about the who's, the what's, the how's, the when's.
I think that's where we get caught up too.
We do, because we want to micromanage. We want
Yeah.
to be in control. But let it go. And
Let
the
it
universe
go.
says,
Oh, sorry.
right? The universe says, here you go. And that's what happened. I mean, I put it out there, and that's how I got my assistant. That's how I got my social media person, my PR person. Because I just put it out there. And one took me 2 days to manifest, the other one took me a day to manifest. You know, but you just put it out there, and then the whole thing, Gary coming into my life. You know,
Timing is everything.
timing is everything, but you have to also be open and ready to receive.
Yeah.
And you are deserving, you are good enough. You know, and because that's another thing for most. I know it was for me for a long time. It's like I felt like I didn't deserve.
Mm.
I felt like I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody better. And here's a fun fact: I always will be.
Right.
Do you? Do
Yeah.
the best you can. Do you?
And-
And then you launch, you adjust, and you keep adjusting as you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like perfect is an illusion.
Yeah.
It's an illusion, because perfect to me is different than perfect for you.
Right.
So it all lies in the person looking at it. It's a matter of perspective.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Listen.
Oh. But anyway, no, but I mean, it's like, do you, and know you deserve it, and know you're the best for you, because you're the best you. There's no one you are like than you. Dr. Seuss said that.
I love Dr.
I know. But it's true.
Uniquely you.
Uniquely you. There's no one you are like you. And you're amazing. You just like believe it. Grab it. You know, it's like, it took me a while. I get it. It's tough. But at some point I was like, well, what do I got to lose? And you just go. Don't be a settler. Don't be a settler. Just go.
And you heard it here first on Beanie Man.
No, there was a commercial.
It was
That's-
commercial.
I've at some insurance company, and they have the settlers on one hand, and the others that have all the luxury and the modern things. And yeah, the settlers are the farmers. I mean, literally settlers. The farmers and the
Oh.
yeah. I don't know what insurance company, but that just stuck with me. I'm like, I'm not a settler.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, don't be
I
a
know.
settler.
No, but I mean, but that's the fun part of really being an entrepreneur in just the discovery and the learning.
Yeah.
And
It is a big discovery. It's almost like a kid learning to walk or finding their feet or holding their hands.
Right.
And you're trying to figure out, and you're like, oh man, I'm going this road, but I discovered that this is what I'm really good at. Or I discovered that I need to improve on something. Or I discovered that this is part of my character that, oh well, man, I need to change that. And it's just so many things that it's like a chisel.
it is.
Entrepreneurship, as you go down the journey, is chiseling off the bad
Mm-hmm.
so you can become better.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
And that's what it's done for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been an entrepreneur-minded woman since I was conceived, I believe. And as
I believe that in a heartbeat.
oh my gosh! And as I've grown, I've had to take off and peel off so many layers through the entrepreneurial journey. And whether I failed or whether I won, I learned something. And if I stayed still somewhere, it's because I believe there was still some things I still needed to learn
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't get. So, what's the thing of insanity? You're doing the same thing over and over again, the same way, and not getting the same results.
Yeah, but you expect different results.
And
That's the insanity part.
Okay, there you go. I misquoted it, y'all.
That's okay.
But I still, at a point in my life, I was expecting the same result from something I was doing still the same way. Not paying attention. I'm hitting my head against the wall like, what is the problem? And then, oh, you are. It was a crude reality.
It is. Yeah.
It's a crude reality, and that's why I think a lot of entrepreneurs stop
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to see themselves.
Well, because it means
And
you
they
have to
don't
take
wanna-
responsibility.
You do. You
Ew.
do. You have responsibility. I don't want an adult anymore. So you have to see where you're going wrong. What are you doing? And then once I peeled back that layer and had to take the veil from over my eyes, I realized, you know what, Emerald, this is where you got to start looking at. This is where you need to get your core beliefs better.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you need to believe that you are worth it. This is where you need to believe in how to manage certain things, your time management, your procrastination. This is a lot of things that you need to peel away in order, and it doesn't happen overnight.
No,
'Cause
it
once
doesn't.
you get it, you still gotta undo all this stuff that you've been programmed.
Right.
But nobody may have done it. You might have programmed yourself to believe certain things.
Right, but I mean
You
a
know?
lot we get from the way we'll grow up. You know, from
where
the
you
parents
grow
to
up,
grandparents.
right?
The people you
So a
hang
lot
around
of
with,
contr-
because it's like
right.
all of their beliefs, we take in. Because
Yeah.
our subconscious takes in
Environments.
everything as is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and the more you hear it,
Right.
and the more you see it, the
Right.
more you believe it.
And you start to believe
But that
it.
doesn't mean it's true.
Right. And then you start to believe it. And then even when you question it, you still like, well, they know more. Or you think that, it's just so many contributing factors. So
Don't compare
don't
yourself.
compare. Yeah, you can't.
Be you.
can't.
You can't. Because if you play that comparison game, you lose.
Every time.
You
And
lose.
you talk
There's
about
no winning.
stuff like Chuck.
Oh my
you
gosh.
won't go nowhere.
Yes, exactly.
You'll be a hamster in a wheel that's not driving.
Absolutely. No, you're right. Don't compare. It's
You
like,
know?
be you. Do you.
Right.
It's like, what's your passion? And here's a fun fact. Whatever your passion is, there's a way to make money. There's a way to make a business out of your passion.
I've
And
seen
it doesn't matter if 10 million people are already doing it.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No.
It really doesn't matter. And that's what I like. So, when are you launching yours?
Well, we thank you for being on Beanie Man Show, Matters of Perspective. We are going to end this evening by saying thank you for following her.
I love you.
Subscribe and push the button at the bottom of the thing. You know I'm trying to block out her question, right? Subscribe, okay? Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about Beanie Man Matters of Perspective. The end.
I love you. You're so awesome.
I'm I'm all like telling everybody, do this.
No, you're amazing. So anyway, but this is the end of our show. I could talk all night
I know.
or
Yeah, we
all
could.
day
We
because
could.
that's just us when
That's
we get
just us.
together. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm sure you got some nuggets out of here. And fun fact, I just launched on if you go to my website, mattersofperspective.com, you can sign up, for your name and your email address. I'm giving away a freebie. It's the Guide to Forgiveness, and there's a little bonus I threw in there, the Quick Manifestation Guide. So go over to my website, mattersofperspective.com, and sign up to get that. It's free. It's just, because I love you guys. So thanks for watching. Oh yeah, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. And as always, be happy, be kind, be loved. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.